to, but the mail didn't exactly mention a particular timeline, but they told us around August, last week in September, they're going to start calling people
Calling.
phase wise,
That
3,000
we
people on campus at all times.
Yes, we have also received a mail like that, but I don't know, will they give first preference to the, like the first semester people, or they will be calling back the graduating batches. So there are a lot of students in the law school, and if you take all the schools in an aggregate, it's all it's more than 3,000. Of course, you
Yes.
guys know that it's way more than 3,000. So even if they call the graduating batch for all the programs that we have in JGU, that will make up 3,000 students. Or maybe you just cross that limit. So I'm not sure which batch they are. Even they are also not sure right now. But you guys have got vaccine, right?
We're 17, ma'am. I am 17, please.
What about the? Okay, that's not a good thing to ask. But have you got your vaccine? Not yet.
Yes, I had my first dose. Yeah, waiting on the second.
I am 17. I'm not eligible to get vaccine.
So you will have to do an RT-PCR test if you have to
Yes.
come back to camp,
No,
come
ma'am.
to the
They told
campus.
us even after getting vaccinated, we have to get RT-PCR test.
That's what I saw, that you still
Yes.
have to get the RT-PCR, because even they're
Yes.
saying now that 2 doses are not enough.
Yes, ma'am.
For the children below 18, they are asking for 3 doses. For the Zydus Cadila, the one which they are planning to launch for children, there they're going to ask for more than 2 doses.
So probably I'll be the last one on campus.
So there will be quite a few of you who will be waiting for Zydus Cadila to, like go beyond the clinical trial and
Yes.
give you guys a vaccine. So yeah, let's hope like we will meet soon.
Ma'am.
And till then, this is the only way for us to interact. Like I have not met the first batch of BASSP yet, although I taught them for 2 semesters already, and will be again teaching them this semester. But still, we have not yet met. Because once the classes start, you are not bound to keep your cameras on. So, and we all like being in our own element. That is also one
Yes.
of the detriments of this, that it has created a negative externality which has been created by this COVID pandemic. That we don't like to be in our formals and go out of our comfort zone. But soon you will learn. Soon we'll go back to that habit. Let's hope so. Okay, this is about me. So I will be teaching you guys, as I told you, this semester, and we'll be doing political philosophy, and with an like with a, what do you say, focus. I'll not say exactly focus, but the the approach will be more to show you how political philosophy applies to public policy and public policy making. Okay. So that will go on. When does your classes start? Because we are not
August
yet.
2nd, ma'am.
Okay, August 2nd. All right. Okay, because we heard something around like 1st of September or like that.
August
So,
2nd online classes. They've already announced it for us.
oh, wonderful. All right. Who would like to go first? Since Stage, I see you are unmuted. Why don't you tell us?
Uh, yes, ma'am. So I'm Teja Adarsh. You can call me Teja. I
Hmm.
am from Andhra Pradesh, southern part of India. So I am from a relatively very small city compared to any of you. So I know Vamanasa is from Bangalore. You are from Kolkata. I am from a very small city personally. But the point of me, I was supposed to go to UK for my bachelor's actually,
Okay.
but due to the pandemic, financially my father was not able to support me to go to UK. So we've together decided that I should stay in India for my bachelor's, then go back for my master's to the UK. I my dream is to go into Cambridge or London School of Economics for doing my master's. So
Wonderful.
I've selected. Thank you, ma'am. So I've selected Jindal because there are very few programs available in policy in India, and Jindal was the best find, to be honest. And there were very few, like one more Amity and Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University. Those were the only options available.
Mm.
And Jindal, the course structure in Jindal was very similar to what I saw in London School of Economics.
Yes.
So that was the main reason why I picked Jindal over everything else. This was my first preference always, if I wanted to stay in India. So after we've decided that we weren't financially strong enough for me to go to UK, Jindal
Mm.
was my first and best option. So
Mm. Okay, so what's your background?
sorry, ma'am.
What's your background? What did you do in 11, 12, like in your plus 2, 11?
11th, 12th, I did PEC, ma'am, Political Science, Economics, and Commerce.
Okay, commerce, like broadly commerce or any particular subject like accountancy?
Accountancy and business studies, ma'am, both together. We generally call them commerce.
Okay, okay, okay. So I still have to
So
make myself
yeah,
familiar with the CBSE 11, 12. Class 10,
yes.
till class 10, I still have some idea because my daughter also goes to a CBSE school, but the 11, 12, I still don't know what do they offer.
Relatively, why I came towards policy is because I did many Model United Nations conferences in my 11th grade, specifically.
Mm.
I went across the country because my city did not have many MUNs. We are a very small city. Nobody knows about MUNs. So one of my friends in Hyderabad introduced me to MUNs, and I went across it. Uh, been in IIT Varanasi, IIT Bombay, IIT Madras. I've done MUNs there. So when I was doing it in Christ, Bangalore, my chair, Mr. Aaron Mirza, he's the Congress Youth President of Karnataka. He was
Mm.
the one who introduced me to policy, particularly. So he told me that you are an analyst, you do wonderful research. So why don't you go towards policy? He introduced me to policy. He showed me the way. So I
Mm-hmm.
could say he's my mentor of one side. So that's how I came into policy through Model United Nations.
Oh, good. So I see you in a way like you're geared towards this area. So
Yes, ma'am.
probably yes, LSE will be a good choice for you after you finish your bachelor's, and then of course uh, I have a student who just recently joined LSE, but she went after her master's.
Oh,
She did a master's in
okay.
public policy here at JGU, and then she went for her higher studies to LSE. She actually got through three places: Science Pro, then
Okay.
LSE, and then I just don't remember offhand the third university which she applied to. And she was selected in, I think, all of them. But she chose LSE because she wanted to do your mute.
Oh, oh, sorry, ma'am. Yeah, all of them are very prestigious. They are very hard to get into. I know that.
Yes, yes, of course. And they offer very, wide range of programs with specializations. So if you get even a master's degree in public policy from such a reputed place, you
Yes,
have very high chances of, like being employed in
yes, yes, ma'am.
meaningful jobs, just not doing
Actual,
anything.
change the world, make a change in the world kind of jobs.
Wonderful. Like you can definitely join the BSSP program. You have rightly chosen this program.
Yes, ma'am.
We have another student in the last year who was in our first year BSSP batch. He is working with an NGO to support indigenous people
Wow.
for against mining. Like they are cutting down the trees for mining operations. So he is working with this NGO to protect those trees under the PETA, the PETA law, environmental protection law. So he's trying to do that, and he has done a remarkable work with the NGO. He and his friends have done a remarkable work. Like he has, we have supported him in all ways, like with his assessment, with his class notes and everything. We never made it mandatory because he was out for campaign and everything. So definitely, we are looking for young people who are ready to make a mark.
Thank you,
Because
ma'am.
that is what our chancellor also wants. In a recent meeting, he made it a point that we want young people to, like show something on the ground. We talk a lot. Academics talk a lot. But where is the right action? The real action is where? So this is, of course, the right place, and we are planning to, we already collaborate. We are planning to collaborate with more civil society organizations. At the same time, there are many centers here in JGU with which you can join, with which you can become an active participant in bringing about change, in doing things in, real time.
Yes, ma'am. I heard there is a youth parliament club as well.
You will get a lot of opportunities. Let the campus open. I know everything is virtual now. Uh, you guys might be very much, accustomed to this virtual world, but we still see it in a little still wary and skeptical about this. So it becomes a little difficult.
I hate virtual world, ma'am.
Of course.
We
Uh,
missed we missed our last year of school life because of
mhm.
that. Hate it.
That's a pity. You missed your farewell.
Yes.
Of course, that's a pity. But now, let's hope we will open up in full strength by spring. Then you will get a lot of chance to do, because many of the faculties are also working with the civil society organizations to do. I myself had been involved in campaigns for child education for child labor with the Global March Against Child Labor. This was a sister organization of Kailash Satyarthi Foundation. I used to work with Kailash ji when I was at JNU. So at that time, he was not a Nobel laureate, and this organization was still coming up as Bachpan Bachao Andolan. So I worked as a campaigner and a policy analyst with him in Bachpan Bachao Andolan, and my area that I was looking at how to give education to these people. We are saying we are banning child labor. Fine, this law has come into India a long time back in the 90s, that you cannot employ any children under the age of 14 in both domestic and hazardous work. We know the law is there. There are many laws like this. But how far is the enforcement happening? The real action is happening. So we will discuss more about this. Let's listen to Nandini and Manasa. Who wants to go first?
I can go. My name is Manasa. I'm from Bangalore. I went to an alternative school called Center for Learning.
What school? I'm
And
sorry.
the Center for Learning,
No. What kind of school you said it is?
alternative school.
Alternative school.
Yeah.
Achha.
If you're familiar with the Krishnamurti Foundation, it's similar to that. So over the course of my time there, we did a lot of trips, and we had a lot of exposure to sort of rural life and a lot of grassroots activism that people were doing in all over the country. So like Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, here in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. And having had the opportunity to spend time with these people and see the work they're doing at that scale, I sort of became interested in understanding it at a more sort of bird's eye intellectual level, which is why I was drawn to this course. So yeah, I did A levels for my 12th. I studied a very wide variety of subjects.
Like?
So I did sociology, psychology, English, maths, and physics, which if economics was an option, I probably would have chosen that, but very small school. So it was not. Yeah.
Okay. So you said sociology. What others? Sociology,
Psychology, maths,
psychology, maths,
physics, and English.
English. Okay. So I do see a connect there. Definitely. If I will not say that you had a very like a broad background, because even we have started to involve physics or draw knowledge from physics in doing our public policy, in public policy making. So we have a center here, Center for Complexity. okay, where we have mostly physicists who have turned public policy makers now. Okay, so in today's world, we really cannot say any discipline is, in a watertight compartment as it used to be. Therefore, just knowledge in one discipline is not enough. And particularly in public policy making, so it is absolutely not enough.
Yeah.
We saw what happened, which maybe you cannot relate to many things that happened before, but of course, you are a witness to the pandemic, right? Which unfolded its various dynamics in front of us. So we saw that just relying on any one group or one faculty will not be enough in this century in our public policy making. So I do not see your background as very, like very spread out, but it might prove to be useful. Once you come to this center, since you have some, training in physics and maths, I would like you to be, speak to the people who are. I'm not a part of the Center of Complexity because the last time I touched a physics book was in class 10. And after that, I never dared to. So if you want, but make it a point that you do speak to the people who are Professor Sudeep Patra. Speak to him, try to become a part of the center, see the kind of work they are doing, and bring in your knowledge. Like at the very stage, at an undergrad level, you will probably you are in the training mode at the very bottom of the learning curve, but definitely you can start the process now. Just writing blogs. Just writing blogs, how physics can be, a very interesting discipline in enlightening public policy making. So just writing blogs like that might be useful. So get in touch with Professor Sudeep Patra once you are on campus, or even you can write to him. You look up Professor Sudeep Patra, you will find his email ID on our JSGB faculty page, and see if you can become a part of the Center for Complexity. Okay?
I will definitely do that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Manandini.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Nandini Singh. I am from Sonipat. I did my 11th, 12th from medical stream. Thanks to the virtual world, I lost interest in it, in 12th itself. And I got counseled, like thanks to my neighbor, I told him like what are the things that interest me, and he introduced me to this course. I looked it up, and it was a very well-structured course. So I searched about it on IIT Delhi's website and read about it. Then I came to know that this course is offered in UG only by Jindal. So that's why I enrolled in it.
Okay, great. So I see that, okay, medical, yeah. Again, as I said that, as I was just telling to Manasa and Teja, that no discipline is watertight anymore. We have faculty here who is an MBBS and now teaching public policy. His doctoral degree is in public health. And because he was a doctor, at one point of time, he had done some amount of clinical practice, and also like he had some grassroots work also. He's done some grassroots work while working as a doctor. He became interested in public policy making, and he just left his clinical practice completely, and he's now one of our faculties, Professor Vivek Padvatenu. Sorry, I'm not getting his last name wrong. So contact him, get in touch with him, Professor Vivek. And we do have faculty here who work on public health, specifically public health. That is one of our concentrations when you come to do Masters in Public Policy here. So that will be one of our concentrations, public health. And so your knowledge in medical science will be of use to you. Don't right away throw away all your notes and delete all the files. Okay.
I'm sure.
Okay. Don't do that. You probably might need it while we are doing term papers. I will expect some good term papers from you where you draw in your training as a medical student. I would want you to bring in that angle when you're writing a term paper. Right.
Sure.
Yeah, we saw what is the situation of our health policy, like a health system. It's been just, like now in broad daylight. And despite that, we prefer to make, religious places of worship. I'll not name anything, rather than making a multi-speciality hospital. And we are waiting for the private players to get the tender, get the bid, and then make a super expensive multi-speciality hospital, which will be completely inaccessible to common middle class and lower middle class group. I'm not even taking into account the poor people who are in the low income quartiles. I'm talking about even the middle class and the low middle class who do not have a health insurance. So
Ma'am,
don't you? Yes,
I
Teja?
don't know if I should say this, but we did something like this in an MUN, where
Mhm.
there was a crisis. We were discussing Ayodhya. The Ayodhya crisis was very new then. So when we did that, our head signed his stances already, party-wise stances, and we were given to propose the idea of building a hospital in the area of the Ayodhya temple. So it is a very diverse topic. There are many points. So yes, I understand where all this is coming from. So
There are
many of my
multiple
experiences come
stakeholders.
from there. Yeah.
There are multiple stakeholders here.
Yes.
But at the very, like given the situation, what is going on, like yesterday's, as the monsoon session opened in Parliament, our ruling party has been refusing to accept that there has been death caused by oxygen shortage. If you read today's newspaper, also you will see this, that they are arguing on this point rather than apologizing. They're arguing on this point that there has been no deaths due to oxygen shortage.
And yesterday, did you read Brindavan, ma'am? The temple of Brindavan was so flooded by people. There were no protocols followed. No one was wearing masks yesterday. I don't know what was the speciality of yesterday. Some special day was yesterday.
It's
There were
with
so
Eid,
many
I
people.
remember.
Yeah, there were so many people. Like it was Kumbh Mela Part 2.
So what you're saying about yesterday, now still the numbers have receded, touch wood. But think about when the Kumbh Mela took place. We were at the peak of the second wave, right? And we dared to do that. And then what happened? We saw bodies floating in that very holy river where people were taking dips.
There was this funny cartoon where they said, "Take a dip in Haridwar, give back your body at Varanasi."
Yeah, but I don't know. Our dean uses a very beautiful term. I must say, a very beautiful term. Knowledge proof. You know how our phones are waterproof, the minister's cars are bulletproof. So we have a government which is knowledge proof. So despite all these cartoons, all these discussions, all the posts and things, nothing reaches the government. Unfortunately, like they have this boundary against them, the unseen boundary around them, which
Knowledge proof,
doesn't
fact proof.
fact proof. Nothing reaches them. And the biggest advantage for our current day government, is what? Can you think? Because most of you I see have some idea about politics. Yes, why
Religious majority.
One, yes, of course.
The use of like social media and things like WhatsApp also in
I
sort
think
of
that should work
disseminating
in the
the
detriment. Don't you think that should
That's
work to the
true.
detriment of the government?
Technically, it should, ma'am, but
I think it also forms in some way a kind of echo chamber of forwards. Like, I don't know. I don't think people sort of take into account the things that they don't want to know.
Okay. All right. If you can mute yourself, Manasa, I think there is some static noise that's coming from your mic. Yeah. All right. I think to me, you might, of course, differ opinion, and there is nothing wrong in that. Okay. Because I'm your teacher does not mean that I'm an encyclopedia. I am not. I'm a human being just like you, and I'm also learning along with you. Okay. So when I look at the politics, to me, what I feel is the biggest problem that we lack strong opposition. There is no opposition. Even if we want to do a no confidence motion in the parliament, then what? So today also Mamata Banerjee has been talking about building a third front.
the third front is a pipe dream, ma'am. It will not work.
Because the regional parties with which they are planning to build a third front have their own priorities, you know. It is very difficult to bring them in at the same table.
And there are too many pieces. Everybody wants to be the leader of the third front.
Everybody,
Everybody.
everybody wants, and nobody is ready to give up
Yes.
because they have been the leaders in their own regions, right? You
Yes.
talk about Sharad Pawar or Mamata Banerjee, or who is this guy? Oh God, Jagan Reddy, or you talk about
Stalin.
Stalin. None of them. They are, you know, the chief ministers, leaders of their party, big shots. They would not like to take directions from someone above. Even if we take it as seniority basis and make Sharad Pawar as the head of the third front, but Sharad Pawar has his, 1 feet stuck in Maharashtra.
Yes.
And we can always imagine that his policies or his changes will be more geared or more, more inclined towards Maharashtra.
That happens with every prime minister, ma'am. Right now, Gujarat,
Yeah.
we stopped giving money during Kerala to floods, and we gave money to Statue of Unity. So it happens with every chief minister. And Sharad, there is no actual strong person working there as well.
At the
Sharad Pawar is
center.
not even completely in power in Maharashtra, so obviously he cannot take charge of the whole country.
No, he's not ready. Are we? That's what. That is our problem. We are unable to see. Like, well, I was in West Bengal when the vote took place. You know, like when the elections, the state elections were going on, and it was Mamata Banerjee versus BJP, Trinamool versus BJP, and I was like, I just don't have a better word but to say that I dislike them equally.
Ma'am, I always had one
Who
very
is the
small
lesser
question
evil?
about Bengal.
Mhm.
Can I ask you that? Because I don't know why, but most of your most talented politicians are in Rajya Sabha. Nobody takes actual leg in the elections. Like the Derek O'Brien, I don't remember his
Derek
name.
O'Brien, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Why are all your strong politicians in Rajya Sabha? The only strong politician in the Lok Sabha is Mahua Moitra from Trinamool. Nobody else speaks up.
That too also, like, I think at times she is like she just makes noise because she wants to make
Yes.
noise.
Yes. Why is that specifically in case of Bengal? All of the actually talented, knowledge-based MPs are in Rajya Sabha. Nobody takes part in elections.
Because one, Mamata Banerjee is one man army, so she doesn't, she's also, Modi in a short form.
The leftist Modi.
So no, not, I don't think she's really leftist also. uh, so she also doesn't listen to people. So what are they going to do? Derek O'Brien or the other as you said, talented or educated people, what are they going to do? They will, Mamata Banerjee will not keep them in the Lok Sabha ministry. It is flooded with Bengali film stars. So one that, and so these people, like she wants stooges, her poodles, who will do what she wants them to do. Nobody should turn around and ask her any question or suggest anything. She's not ready for it. I'm sure she never writes in at the bottom of her email that please share your comments and suggestions. So that's why we can clearly say that, see that she will not allow. So in a way, she wants, like these people to be in the Rajya Sabha, to be out of her way, so that they are not disturbing. How Sonia Gandhi removed Pranab Mukherjee? Do you think like that she was, fine, he was made the president, but we all know in our country the kind of, in any country with our political structure, a democracy, a Republican style democracy, what kind of role of our president has?
Figurehead.
Yeah, presidential system, right?
Just a figurehead. Yeah.
Just a figurehead.
Yeah, so he hardly has any power. He just cannot stop any bill. He cannot, important bills, like the money bills. He cannot take any decision without the permission of the Prime Minister. So Pranab Mukherjee was a threat to Sonia Gandhi, because Sonia Gandhi at that time was imagining Rahul Gandhi will become the Prime Minister. They never thought that UPA will lose so badly in 2014.
Everybody knew UPA will lose in 2014.
Yeah, but they don't want to see the truth.
Yes.
Like right now, BJP don't want to see the truth. But we are waiting for the next election,
I don't think BJP will lose in the next election as well.
Because if there is nobody, we are left with nothing. We don't have a choice. We are as good as a dictatorship. We are a
Modi is
one-party
the
rule.
lesser of both evils. Yes.
Where's the other evil?
Yes, the other one.
He is better than Rahul Gandhi, ma'am. I hate right
Rahul
wingers. I
Gandhi is
hate
not
BJP.
evil also.
Ma'am, I
He
don't
is-
want to say it, but he's an idiot.
Look, yeah, but we just cannot, say that outright. Don't. Today only there is news in the newspaper. Faculty of, he's a professor at a university, Allahabad, in UP. Okay, so he is in jail right now. For, I think he must have put some, like opposite thing that they don't like against Smriti Irani, the Minister of Women and Child Development.
There is no freedom of press.
No,
We can't.
no. Only if you are in the big shot, like you are in NDTV or so, then say anything. But as students, we know what's going on with Vara Rao, and we know what our politics, right? So I will advise you, you're young, stay safe.
Yes, sorry for that, ma'am.
Stay safe. Okay, fine. This is a university recording, but stay safe.
Yes.
We all have, but there is a way of delivery. And also your way of delivery should not be the same as the person who is standing outside the university gate. I always tell my students.
So let's just keep it
the
at,
point.
I personally think Modi is the lesser of both evils.
Yeah, but there is no other evil here, Teja, right? Rahul Gandhi is no one, basically. No one in politics. When was the last time you saw him in the front page? Last 1.5 years that we have been roaring about this pandemic, what has been his stand? Opposition's role is just not criticizing the government in power. If you are thinking it like that, then he's wrong.
No,
I'm sure he has the best of education to know that opposition's role is not just criticizing the government. But your criticism has to be constructive. Only then people consider you as a credible opposition. So right now, what Congress does is criticize. They are as good as, like the fighting cocks at the outside the gate.
If we
Yeah.
see Congress's history of criticizing as well, ma'am, there will be 3 or 4 issues in majority which they scream about. That is
Fine.
it.
Then what is your stand? What do you propose to do if we choose you? What will you do? You have to tell me that, right? Then only I'll go and vote for you. Otherwise, I will not. You have to tell me that, okay, there is oxygen shortage, there is bed shortage. Fine. All these are, parts of a problem. But what are you going to do about the larger problem? Yes, you're going to give free oxygen, you will give free beds. Everybody is giving free. What are you talking about free? In our country, there is no free lunch. Make a note of this line. There is no free lunch. Even if you buy cold drinks, a bottle of water, you're paying a tax. We are all taxpayers. The moment we open our purse, we are all taxpayers. So what is free? You are giving me from the money that I gave you. What is a free vaccine? India has the highest tax rate. Compare it to any country. Just do some data search. Now that you guys have some time, free time, go to some websites, like Penn
India
Board.
also has the highest number of defaulters, ma'am.
Yes, because when there is too much of pressure, you will have defaulters. There will be loopholes.
Yes.
And India does not have an enforcement mechanism. We have tons of laws who has not yet seen daylight. So what are you saying? Fine, then okay, fine. You are going to form a government. You're criticizing the incumbent government. Fantastic, but fine. I'll go and vote for you.
What's
But
the actual change you're going to implement?
what are you offering me? Don't tell me about free oxygen, free bed, and all that. Nothing is free. Okay, you're not giving it from your pocket. It is the money I paid to you as tax, and you are bound to give it back as social and economic programs to us for improve our standard of living, for
That
improve
is
our
basically
conditions.
how government works.
Yes. So where is the free lunch? So stop giving all these gimmicks. We are not falling for it. Tell me real change that you will bring about. You have opened up school, universities, this and that, and you've brought in private players. Half of the doctors don't know what to do. They have no clue about what is this pandemic, what they're just giving, like in Sonipat, Nandini, I'll tell you, you will, I don't know where you all live, but we dare to go to a hospital here. We are scared of that. Because from many people we heard that you go to a hospital and if you have fever, you're just given Calpol or some paracetamol and they ask you to sip warm water and that's the only treatment that you receive. And the doctors are also scared of coming near to you because they don't have, I don't blame them because they don't have a PPE. Lot of frontline workers have been complaining about the PPEs. So doctors, they are also human beings. They're scared of getting infected and they don't want to come near to a COVID patient. They have their families. So what real change are you going to bring about? So unfortunately, there is no other party at the moment which has a mandate, as we say, a political mandate. So it is not always that you went and voted willingly for a certain party. Yeah, like when we say free press, free this, free that, how much free? That is a question. And what do we mean by free? We are free people, yes. Are we really free? Teja was just telling me I could not go to UK, so I chose this. Yes, I freely chose to join JGU. But was this
Yes,
decision
ma'am.
really free? Can you say that it is free? Weren't you bound by your circumstances? That is why you chose this. Say, for example, everything was normal.
My dad would have been in a position to send me. Due to the pandemic, our business was heavily affected. So
Oh, yes, so
even
fine.
I can't pressure him to send me right now.
So that is what I'm saying, your circumstances. So where is the freedom? Why were the businesses affected?
So badly.
MSMEs have been the worst hit.
Yes.
What did the government do for them? What
And
is
they were
wrong?
not even included in the statistical application for the shrinking of the economy, ma'am.
Right.
No
And
statistic till now has been released by the Indian government, including the MSMEs into taking them into account.
right. So when we think about this, what does the opposition offer us for the MSMEs?
Nothing
What
better.
will they do? Do they have a plan?
State
That,
governments were far better in acting towards this, actually, ma'am.
that is one of the reasons why we are going with what we are going with right now. Because we don't have an opposition.
Yes.
And for the proper functioning of a democracy, Her Majesty's opposition, from where we learned this idea about opposition, is very important. Otherwise, we are nothing better than China, which is a non democracy, which is a one party rule. In China, there is only one political party, Chinese Communist Party. There is no other party. That is a one party government is a type of a non democracy. So, so just holding elections means that we are democracy. Or saying that we have a free press. Really? Do we have a free press?
I can genuinely say we do not have a free press.
What about our public opinion? All these surveys and all this which goes on. Who takes into account of these surveys and how are these migrant workers completely left out? Have you ever given it a thought? Like, fine, the government didn't want to disclose the plan of lockdown early because that might have created a massive hoarding, mass hoarding of things at home. That would have created more chaos. So they didn't want to give us a lot of time. And they said, okay, we kept like the daily groceries open. So you can still go tomorrow and buy.
Ma'am, this was the most underprepared lockdown in the whole world.
Right.
There was no preparation. There was no panic and chaos as well in the public, but there was no preparation from any side. Kerala government implemented lockdown on January 20th.
So that is the problem. So why you were never thought about this migrant workers? We are going to talk about globalization today. We will. We will be constantly talking about globalization because we live in a globalized world. Right now, I'm quite sure all the things that you have with you right now, from earphones to your laptops, your dresses, to your smartphones, are from varieties of country, right? If not the finished product, but the parts inside them are from varieties of country. So this has become the fact of our life. We cannot deny that. So we will keep on talking about globalization. So in a globalized world, where is our public opinion? We talk about free press. What about these migrant workers? The entire edifice of globalization stands on the shoulder of the migrant workers. We saw when they left what happened. Right now, many places have remained understaffed because the workers who went back to their villages are not ready to come back to the cities. They're scared of coming back to the city. If there is a lockdown tomorrow, what will happen to them because the kind of plight they suffered. So many people are saying, many businesses, particularly the MSMEs, the online businesses, which are so much dependent on these delivery boys, they are understaffed. They cannot work to their full capacity because they are not getting their stuff. now. And this problem will linger. This problem will linger. I'm not saying that these people who have gone back to the villages are living happily. No, they are not. They are also in trouble. With Minrega, how much you are going to cover? Considering the population of India, how much will you be able to cover? Just by
Ma'am, half
Minrega?
of the even many of them are above poverty line technically. So there are not many people covered under Amenrega
Right.
normally as well.
Imagine a school teacher because the village schools have closed down. I read all these stories in the newspapers only. Just make it a habit, Now your newspapers are at your fingertips. So get into the habit of reading newspapers. Subscribe to these their online editions. So I read the story of the two school teachers who are teaching in primary schools in small towns, like they lost their job because schools were closed. And we know that many of the schools stopped paying their teachers. So they were out of job. So they went back to their village and they had no job. So they started to work 100 days on the Menriga. So is this kind of life that we are looking forward to? And why? We voted this government thinking that it's going to bring us achhe din. Forget achhe din, some of us don't see daylight also. Anyway, so these kind of discussions will carry on. We are going to talk about public policy making. Essentially, that should be uppermost in your mind. And public policy making does not happen from one angle. There are multiple stakeholders, multiple people, as we just talked about this multi-speciality hospital in Ayodhya. So a lot of stakeholders are involved. But probably if the government would have taken such a decision, which was in the benefit of more people, then it would have helped. But again, we know we are a little bit of, religious orthodox. So that's why this kind of decision can stay. So we will talk about these things. This is what is the essential focus of our course, of our program. And let's see where we get to. Your training starts now. As policymakers, your training starts now. And as I just said to you, don't throw away your old notes. You never know when which one will become handy. Okay, even the smallest thing that you might have learned might become useful at a point of time when you might have not guessed of it also. All right, so that brings us to the end of today's interaction. We'll soon start meeting in our class time. I think your classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, if I remember correctly, with me.
We haven't received any
Schedule,
schedules.
yes, ma'am.
We have, so I think with the first year students, I will meet them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think 12 to 1:30 to like that. So we'll continue our discussions and hope you enjoy it. All right.
Thank you, Professor.
Take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
So stay safe so that we meet in the campus. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So let's keep the numbers low so that the government finally is able. We should not say decide. They want to take the decision, but see again here they are hand tied. You cannot blame them. We have to follow the protocol because it is the common people who are flooding the Vrindavan temple. The government didn't tell you to come. Your life is in your own hands. Don't go to the public places. Don't go to crowded places, which everyone is telling now. Even if you have taken all the vaccines, still try to stay home as much as possible. Unless it is really emergency, do not go out. So here, see, we cannot blame the government. If you say that, oh, why the Vrindavan temple? Why did you go? Right?
Right,
The
ma'am.
government is telling for the last 1.5 hours to stay indoors. then why are you going out for unnecessary reason? For a long time, people did not follow the basic protocols, even during the lockdown. They just, just went out for a walk to see how the things are like earlier people used to do during the Bandh days. You guys have not seen so much of Bandh today.
We've been through that, ma'am. We
Yeah,
have
yeah, you
the
are in the red
AP
corridor.
Telangana,
You
the
are in
division
the,
thing.
because I am also from the red corridor. So we see a lot of these Bandhs. Government calls Bandh, opposition call Bandhs, trade unions call Bandh. So off and on we have these Bandh days. So during those days were nothing but playing cricket on the main road.
Yeah. I think one Bandh everybody has seen is CAA probably during CAA and RC.
Yes. So we have those Bandhs never made any difference to our lives, except that you don't have to go to school. Wow, great. You can sleep late. And for boys, you can go out and play on the main road, play cricket on the main road. So every Bandh day, we would have a football or cricket tournament in our locality, in our neighborhood. So it didn't make a difference. So same thing we saw in case of lockdown initially. People just, okay, let's go out, let's check out how things are in the locality. And why do you need to? Right? So we cannot say that, oh, the Vrindavan temple was flooded. Why did you go? If you don't go, it will not be flooded. Right? So there are things that we can also do. That is why in our constitution we have two things, remember. One is our fundamental rights, chapter 3, what we expect from our government.
And duties.
And our duties, this is chapter 4, fundamental duties. That is also fundamental. Just blaming the government will not get us very far if we don't do our bit. All right. So I might sound like those TV ads, stay home, stay safe. But that is the reality of our lives right now. So let's hope we stay home, stay safe, and the number keeps dipping, and then all schools and colleges will open, and we'll all meet, and we'll be happy again. With that note, see you guys. If 2nd August classes starts, I'll meet you on 3rd August. All right then.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes, we go.
One second. Mani, you are saying something?
Yeah, on 2nd we have the commencement lecture from 2 to 3:30 p.m. So
Okay.
on 2nd they will be starting the semester with the commencement lecture.
Okay. So no, I meet this batch on Tuesdays. So I'll see them on 3rd August. Okay. Great. Bye then.
One thing before we go, Nandini, we have a WhatsApp group with some of our seniors. So if I could